Welcome to InSec World 2022. It is a great honor for me to be part of this wonderful conference again. This year, I'm going to talk about the changing landscape of security. For the ones that don't know me, I am Dr. Erdal Ozkaya, and currently I work at Exitium as Chief Information Security Officer as well as Cybersecurity Strategist. Besides that, I work at Charles Sturt University, as well as I'm the president for the Global CISO Forum, which is a community forum for CISOs and many security professionals across the globe. I have published more than 17 books, and I'm proud to say that some of them won multiple awards. You can search them later up after the event. So let's go straight to the topic. The state of cybercrime. I think by now everybody is fully aware that cybercriminals continue to act as sophisticated profit enterprises. They are finding new ways to implement their techniques, increasing the complexity of where they host campaign operation infrastructure. The threat landscape has changed a lot. If you remember, last year I spoke about many different attack vectors, and unfortunately, after more than 365 days today, when we look at what's happening in the field at Exitium, we still see many issues happening, and the main causes didn't change much. But let's go and talk about it right now. First of all, what's happening? Honestly, the number one vector of attacking didn't change. Yes, I'm here to talk about the changing landscape, but while the attacks get more sophisticated, unfortunately the techniques are still classified as same. Phishing. Phishing is still the main reason of the attacks. Based on statistics, more than 90% of the attacks starts with phishing, and this is a huge number. What else? When we look at what's happening, based on Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report, if an attacker sends an email to 100 people, 23 people will open it, so it's around 23%. The scary part is 11 people will open the attachment, and the more scary part is that the six people will do that within the first hour. So, what does this mean? It means it takes an attacker around 72 minutes to get into your infrastructure once a phishing email has been sent. And what does this mean to you? It might mean that your network can be hacked within the next 2 hours. And all these numbers are currently published at Microsoft Digital Threat Report, where you can go and download. So, what else are the hackers doing? While they're using the same techniques, they started to change the attack vectors. So, instead of creating new domains and trying to, use their own infrastructure to hack organizations, what they do is they boost the appearance to be more legitimate. In other terms, attackers are compromising business networks and devices to host their own phishing campaigns. So, instead of an attacker sending you an email from Coca-Cola.com with C0CL0.com, whatever, they hack Coca-Cola as an example, and they host their phishing infrastructure at an organization and send you that phishing from that legitimate organization. Of course, this could be malware or even mining cryptocurrency. So, digital threat activity is at an all-time high, and the level of sophistication increases more and more and more. What does this mean? When I work with organizations and I look at cyber attack vectors, unfortunately, there is more than phishing, which didn't change from last year. Patching. Patching is still a big issue. Most of IT teams, they still hesitate to patch on time, even for critical patches, even for very important patches which can cause networks to go down. The most famous example for this is WannaCry. If you remember in 2016-17, when the first WannaCry happened because of a 0-day, which is called Eternal Blue back then, where Microsoft released a patch, organizations took 2 months to patch their systems. Why? They started to patch after the first WannaCry happened, because when Microsoft released the patch, 2 months has passed and nobody patched. Most of the organization didn't patch their systems. As a result, WannaCry started to have lots of organization. And I remember back then I was, I think at Microsoft, yes, where people called Microsoft services to help to patch their computers as soon as possible. But for some of them, it was too late. What else? Misconfiguration. It's great to have lots of tools. It's great to use lots of security products. But it means it's not good if you don't set it up correctly. It is not good if you don't know how to use it. What else? When we look at the attacks, so let's look at also what's happening in the dark side, the attacker side. There is more than 34,000 password attacks per minute. This doesn't change in the IoT space. Close to 2,000 attacks. Again, there is more than 1,000 DDoS attacks per minute. We talked about phishing a few minutes ago, but the attack vectors, doesn't matter what you want to call it, SQL injection, supply chain attack, ransomware attack, happens unfortunately severely every few minutes. It's not a secret. We at Exitium, for example, we detect millions of new viruses per year, and putting all this vendor together, there is more than 300 million, I repeat, more than 300 million new malware detected every year. This is like more than close to 19,000 malware per minute. What does this mean to you? So, we are all know that we are connected. After pandemic, many people started to work from home since pandemic. Many people started to get connected remotely. Travel started again. What does it mean? We are all connected. What does all connected mean? If a cyber impact happens, it's gonna affect everybody at the same time. Such as the supply chain attack, which happened earlier last year with FireEye, with SolarWinds attack. So, doesn't matter how strong your infrastructure is, if you have a weak link into your organization, this might attack your organization. As a result, we say we are all connected. So, what else is happening? When we look at the cost of cybercrime, we see that it costs them more than $1 million per minute. And is this all? No. Let's look at the defender sites. We at the defender sites, we spend more than $285,000 to try and protect our organizations. So, in one side, the impact is very high. Another side is we try to spend more to minimize the impact of a cybercrime. So, what does this mean? Are we going to continue to buy products? Or are we going to use some tools which doesn't cost money? Honestly, there are some great paid products. There are also some great open source products where you can combine them together, where can increase your defenses. But before we even go there, let's talk about how you can defend against those attacks. So, it's clear that attackers, they use same name of tactics, they found new ways. It's clear that a single attack costs us much more money, and you need to defend. But how? First of all, you should keep asking this question to yourself. Does your organization foster a strong cybersecurity culture? As the Chief Information Security Officer, or the CIO, or security manager, or SOC manager, or whatever your role is in the organization, do you contribute to secure your organization? Yes. You might be a cleaner, you might be in sales, you might be a developer, you might be in finance, in HR. We all have to help the cybersecurity team to secure. Example, if we receive an email, we should not double click on it without checking the authenticity. If it's suspicious, we should report it. But is this all? No. Of course, as the C-level responsible person, you have to create some metrics. And metric means creating goals, setting goals, and measuring them. What does this mean? Before you know where you are and where you want to go, you cannot progress. An example, if you, let's say, fly to Germany and you hire a car, you are in Frankfurt airport and you want to drive to Köln. You get your phone and you set up your Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever, as to set up your destination. In that destination, if you put Berlin as a destination, you cannot get angry if your phone takes you to Berlin instead of Köln. So, you should know where you are and where you want to go. This applies to cybersecurity as well. If you don't know your current environment, your current assets, your current crown jewels, your current issues, and you don't set up the right goal to be more secure, you don't measure what you have and what the gap is where you want to be in the future, you cannot progress. What else? To do anything in an organization, you have to involve the right people. Involving the right people means understanding your audience, your team workers, your co-workers, and building trust. Remember, a few minutes ago, I was saying that you have to build a culture that everybody helps you as cybersecurity responsible person to contribute towards security. For that, you have to get people involved in the right level. You have to talk about the dangers. You have to display what the issues can be. And looking at the news today, once an organization gets hacked, unfortunately, it's not just the CISO or the CIO gets affected. It is the business who has to cost money, which means to pay the fines because of GDPR maybe, or the ransomware which they had to pay to release the data, might cost lots of jobs. Will probably cost lots of money to get back to normal, and it will guaranteed cost your trust, losing trust of your organization, your customers, losing some market share. Let me give you a totally different example. If you remember, in 2022, around mid-year, Facebook was down for 6 hours, and that 6 hours cost Mark Zuckerberg billions of dollars. Even though it was not a cyber attack, being offline panicked the shareholders and they started to sell their shares, which caused the share price to drop. What else? You have to plan and execute. What does this mean? If you don't, for example, create phishing simulations, if you don't create some customized phishing trainings and execute them, measure the process, you cannot be successful. What else? You have to keep in mind that cybersecurity is a business risk, not just an IT problem. What does this mean? If your organization gets a cyber attack, it's not just the IT department is going to be down, it's most probably the whole organization. Yes, the IT department is going to be busy to bring you back to normal, restore from backups hopefully, or whatever, but if your business is not understanding that cybersecurity is the business risk, then unfortunately you are not going to move far away. As I mentioned earlier with my Facebook example, there is what we call a domino effect on security incidents. A great example happened again just in the last few weeks. As you know, Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. He started to change that blue tick policy, and as a result, hackers or activists started to create fake blue tick accounts, and they tweeted as one of a big pharmacy company saying that the Iliceline, which is a, I'm not the doctor, but it's against it's a medicine against blood sugar to set it up. But don't worry what I say about this. Let's focus back in the example. They tweeted that Iliceline drug is for free, and they lost lots of market share. While then when the company noticed that and they tweeted from the actual account, it was actually not their fault, but the domino effect costed them some money. Just imagine this was a real cyber attack and they were down for real. Of course, the price we're gonna probably go even more down. So, Dr. Ozkaya, stop telling me the story. Stop scaring me. Tell me how can I protect myself? Of course, this is the $1 million question, right? First of all, to protect against any cyber incident, you have to build a cybersecurity strategy. I suggest that you should follow a strategic framework. This could be ISO, this could be HIPAA, this could be whatever. Just follow it and try to align your strategy based on a framework. As I mentioned earlier, know your current state. Have a vision. Try to define guiding principles. Identify your capabilities. Build a roadmap. Have your projects. Create the roadmap in a way that you can engage the right stakeholders. You can onboard resources. You can implement the projects in the right way. And don't forget, this is an ongoing process. What else you should not forget? It is impossible to have 100% security. You should create security as necessary. As long as you go ahead and establish a risk tolerance, a risk level, you put a goal to deliver as much as security as needed, then you will find a way to protect your organization. Way before that, you should understand how your business is. Let me give you an example from my end. I think last year when I spoke this conference, I was still the regional CISO of a bank. Or I just recently joined Exitium. But when I joined the bank, you know what I did first? I joined from Microsoft to that bank. The first 3 months, I spent my time to learn banking. I tried to understand how banking makes money. I tried to understand how countries serve their customers. I tried to understand how different teams communicate with each other. That cost me 3 months, but it helped me to rebuild my confidence level within the banking industry, and I was able to create a big impact. Why? Everything what I did was reflected to business and business requirements. Me doing this helped people to contribute towards my goals. What else? To build a future-proof cybersecurity strategy, you have to identify your key challenges. You have to coordinate action to address challenges. As I mentioned earlier, you have to keep monitoring and adapting the changes. Yes, this could be zero trust. Yes, this could be defense in depth. Yes, this could be a new firewall or new EDR, XDR, MDR, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter what it is. Once you know what you need and you implement it in the right way, you can protect your organization in the best way where possible. What else? You might be having an existing strategy, no problem. Or next year today, you might want to update your strategy, no problem. All what you have to do is look at the elements which is still relevant today. You have to address all revised security goals. Are they still valid? Do I need to add something? Is this still necessary? What else can I do to be more secure? If you keep asking these questions to yourself and be always ready to a cyber attack, then you're going to be in a better state. Don't forget, you cannot defeat the threats of the present with the tools from the past. Yes, you need the right tools. Yes, you need to spend as much as necessary, but not too much, not too less. Yes, there is much more things to talk, but unfortunately, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. And I would like to remind you one more time, please be ready for cyber attack. Don't be a reference in the news. Cybersecurity is like going to the gym. You cannot gain muscles without any pain. You have to go and work hard. to do so. You have to create metrics, as I mentioned earlier, and you have to track these metrics, increase your return of investment. With this, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Şişe, dankeschön, şükran, teşekkürler, in every possible language for watching the presentation. Please keep in touch via social media. I'm available nearly everywhere, Twitter, YouTube channel, and so on. And don't forget, there is lots of free tools which can help you to be more secure, such as openedr.com, which I'm also working together with Global CISO. It is an OpenEDR project which I recommend you to have a look later. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next year.